It's Dandadan, a show where we talk about Dandadan, a manga about the Dum-Da-Dums. This week's chapter was a lot of fun, but there is a lot to talk about with this one. A lot to break down. And you know exactly what I'm talking about because we got Big Mo! And I don't want to come off as gloating, but I'm genuinely just so happy that I got at least one more theory right before the end of Dandadan Season 1. Alright, so there is so much to break down and analyze, so I'll start from the beginning. 209 picks up from 208 with Froggy Fresh blown up into smithereens. I do like the detail of what looks to be Bamora being spared from the brunt of the explosion, most likely thanks to the mysterious people we saw at the end of the chapter, but I will talk more about why I think the words, why that is later in the video. But as it all comes tumbling down for Froggy Fresh, we get a shot of Small Mo. Potentially one of our last, in fact. She's lying on the remnants of Froggy Fresh's hot debris as she sees the city around her disintegrate, which was in reality just an alien-made mirage of sorts. It wasn't real, and that's a notable note. So with that, I may be totally off base with saying this, and it may be dumb, and I'm pretty overworked, so I could forget if this even haven't happened at all. But if they are able to create this kind of scenario where an entire city is so realistic, nobody, even us, realizes it, then I guarantee you that this will be used in the future in a way that is to the detriment of the Dum-Da-Dums again. I'm thinking something like this. What if they are able to make realistic projections of the Dum-Da-Dums and fool the real ones? Food for thought. I also could foresee some interesting dynamics with that too. It's just another example of the aliens having technology that can rival any spirit or yokai power. It really is starting to feel more and more like the Dum-Da-Dums are even more on the backbeat than they were before. Now, with that being said, we got to move on to the middle portion of this chapter, which kind of just broke my heart. And Tatsu really did have me with this one, but only for a moment. With Bamora gone, no kaiju suit she can use either, Momo realizes that this is the moment she never wanted to happen. Nobody is around to help her. Nobody can see her. And she is disappearing. And this scene is basically her passing on. It was even more effective because of the background and the art. Seeing Momo so tiny looking over this rice field full of water, as if it were this vast sea to her, seeing the faux city whisk away like fireflies in the sky. Traditionally, anime and manga have trained us to see this moment and go, oh, well, Momo is 100% dead. Time for the flashback. Obviously, that wasn't the case, but just to break down this scene further, I thought it was just so masterfully done. I thought the motif of the moon in the same panel as Momo saying that she hopes that Granny is okay was touching and actually really clever. In Japanese, to put it like super simple without getting into further details, the word moon and the word love can often be mixed up and mistaken as they are both very similar words. In Japanese media, the moon and love are very similar motifs. Then when you combine that with its standard meaning across all cultures for the most part, the moon is often seen as a symbol for longing or for beauty, and most importantly, love. What this means for Momo is that she feels isolated and is longing for the connection of love she felt with Seiko and to return to normalcy. It also means that in her mind, her final moments were spent admiring the life she had and looking back on it as a beautiful thing. Not just with Seiko, but with Bamora, Gigi, Okarun, and especially all of the others. And in those final moments, she understands that her time has run out, and she just goes away. We see her weep and cry, remembering all of the friends she made along the way, and the family she found, and just feels so incredibly lonely. Honestly, this is so relatable in this day and age, and that's why I think in this instance, I almost got by Tatsu. It is a sad moment where the loneliness that Momo has been carrying on her shoulders since she left that cursed board game all comes flowing out of her like the water in those rice fields. And like the fake city around her whisking away, she whisks away too, almost as if she were never there. It's a sad, crushing, and lonely moment, maybe one of the most brutal I've seen in the entire manga thus far. This is the closest that we probably will ever get to Momo dying, and I do not ever want to see that again. Never again, please. But who knows? Maybe this entire moment was Tatsu just punishing us because he wanted a chuckle out of us this week. Honestly, I could see it. But mysterious monks come out of the shadows and take Momo to a place underground where she is taken to a stalactite. I had to Google that, by the way. I had to figure out if it was a stalactite or a stalagmite. But that drips water on her. He taps with the hammer and brings her back to full size. I was just so happy to honestly just see this. Like, Big Mo is back, and I did a bit of research on this scene because I found it so interesting. The last time Big Mo was seen, get this, was January 2nd, 2024, in chapter 135 of Dandadan. That is a long-ass time since we saw Momo at her usual Big Mo size. But what is even more important in this scene is what the monk or whoever used as the tool to tap Momo's little makeshift container. That mallet should look familiar, as this is the Uchire no Kozuchi, the mallet from Ishunboshi that can create anything the heart truly desires and tap it out, man. We're tapping. We're tap dancing. Finally. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. This means that, in my estimation, the hole we saw around Bamora at the... Is it a hole or is it like just like... I don't know what we would describe this as. But the thing we saw around Bamora at the beginning of the chapter may be the monk tapping out Bamora back to where they are underground. Also, the monk did say he dealt with their 2 friends. It implied Momo would be receiving the same treatment that they did. Bro, aren't there like Bamora, Seiko, and Gigi? Wasn't that 3 people? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're not counting Seiko since Seiko's not exactly technically a friend, but also is a friend? I don't know. We'll find out soon. Either way, this could be how Bamora was saved. But I am so happy to be right about another one of my insanely stupid theories. I don't often get these right, but it is neat when it does happen. But I was wrong about a couple things thus far in that theory, so maybe I was just completely wrong still. I thought Momo would get the Uchire no Kozuchi, but now I understand she probably won't. I mean, it is kind of overpowered. Another detail I was wrong about was her changing sizes at will. It is a cool idea, and it very well could still happen, but the vibes now are telling me no to both. I've also seen some consider this really interesting idea that they may be going the amnesia cliche. Now, the current theory is that Momo will not remember anyone and thus become an enemy of sorts. Honestly, while that to me is interesting, and I wouldn't mind that to be explored, I do not know if this is going to be the case. But there are some hints supporting this, or at least you can look at it that way. For one, we do not know who these people are or what their plans are for Momo. But we also do know that Gigi and or Bamora are with them too, so that could mean they're friends or foes. There is the possibility for either to happen. Another is that Momo has long hair now, which is quite unusual, as moments before she had her characteristic shorter tomboy hair. So here is my take. I think since the monks are whoever that they are, I assume we'll find out next chapter, are still using spiritual items, so with that being said, I think the possibility of them being on the side of the Dum-Da-Dums and vice versa is much higher than I think this amnesia theory. While there could be the amnesia story arc for Momo's character, I also think that's a little bit of a misunderstanding and a bit of a red herring. I think the long hair is more of a visual motif that she is being reborn. I mean, look at how this scene was laid out. The fact she is emerging from water from a stalactite, seemingly naked and surrounded by people clothing her in a white robe. I mean, that's super biblical and shit, yo. That's like total, like, being born, yo. But either way, let me know what you think, friendos. I thought this chapter was pretty damn good and very hard-hitting while also having an ending to give us a little bit of hope, or doom, if you want to see it that way. Thank you so much for your viewership. You can click the newest video here on the screen for more. Also, join my Discord server, and if you made it this far, drop a pair of blue hearts in the comments. Make it a great day or not, the choice is yours.